We control a number of municipalities. It is hugely painful each time when the Auditor General comes to report to Cabinet and they put up their report, and those municipalities that do best are not ANC-controlled municipalities. And I can name it here because there's nothing wrong with competition. They are often DA-controlled municipalities. We need to ask ourselves, what is it that they are doing that is better than what we are doing? And there's nothing wrong with us saying we want to go and see what Cape Town is doing. We want to go and see what Stellenbosch is doing. How do they craft everything? We need to be moving up the ladder of being good at what we do. We cannot forever stay at the bottom. It hurts me deeply when I continue to see that our municipalities sometimes tend to move even backwards. And you are the people who can improve that. The audit outcomes are important. I'm told by the Auditor General that a number of our financial statements are not even prepared at the council level. They are prepared outside. And even as they come back, they are often wrong. Now, what it means is that we do need to get capable people. Our country is not short of people who understand numbers. It's not short of people who understand accounting. Let us go and get people who understand accounting. Unless we want the books to be cooked. And I would say, away with cooking of the books. Cooking of the books must end today.
You must have watched the video of President Cyril Ramaphosa speaking, and if you did, you probably raised your eyebrows at one of his more surprising admissions. Standing before ANC supporters, the president openly said that Democratic Alliance municipalities often run better than those under ANC control, and that the governing party has a duty to learn from the opposition. Now, let's just pause there. In South African politics, this is like a Kaizer Chiefs coach saying Orlando Pirates has the better midfield. It does not happen often, and when it does, you can expect both shock and laughter. What Ramaphosa said cuts right into the heart of one of South Africa's long-running debates: why do some municipalities collapse while others seem to keep the lights on, fix the potholes, and collect the rubbish? It is the sort of thing you hear on the ground all the time, whether you are in the queues at Home Affairs or sitting in the dark during load shedding. People compare, and people notice. For decades, the ANC has governed most municipalities across the country. Yet the Auditor General's reports keep reminding us that many of those councils are drowning in irregular expenditure, weak financial controls, and a culture where political loyalty often outweighs competence. Roads crumble, sewage runs into rivers, and basic services fall behind. And voters, even the most loyal ANC voters, feel the strain. On the other hand, DA-run municipalities, think Cape Town or Midvaal, often pride themselves on cleaner audits, tighter financial management, and a reputation for delivering services more consistently. Of course, it is not perfect, and critics will point out that the DA's governance is sometimes accompanied by accusations of being overly bureaucratic or indifferent to poorer communities. But the numbers and service records do tell a story. So for Ramaphosa to say the ANC must learn from the DA is a political bombshell. It is rare honesty from a leader who usually tries to defend the party at all costs. He is basically telling his comrades, guys, stop pretending. The neighbors are mowing their lawn, their house is tidy, and we are sitting with broken windows. Naturally, this opens a can of worms inside the ANC itself. Some in the party will appreciate his candor, saying the movement needs a wake-up call if it is to survive beyond the next election. Others will feel betrayed, arguing that no ANC leader should ever give the DA free publicity. And let's be honest, Jacob Zuma would never have said anything like this. He would probably laugh it off and talk about conspiracy theories. The timing of Ramaphosa's words is also important. The ANC has been steadily losing ground in elections. In 2024, it dropped below 50% nationally for the first time, forcing it into a government of national unity with parties like the DA itself. For a liberation movement that once commanded 2/3 of parliament, that is a major come down. And when the president admits that the DA runs certain things better, he is in effect acknowledging why many voters drifted away. Let's also remember the history of local government in South Africa. Municipalities were designed to be the closest link between the state and the people. They are supposed to ensure that water, electricity, housing, and sanitation are provided where people live. But many ANC-run towns have been plagued by service delivery protests, sometimes so frequent that residents say they have more experience with tear gas than with working streetlights. That frustration creates fertile ground for opposition parties to gain votes. By contrast, in DA municipalities, even if you do not like their politics, the bins are more likely to be collected on time. People notice these practical details more than high-level speeches about unity or development. Ramaphosa's remarks are therefore less about praising the DA and more about recognizing that politics is judged by results on the ground. There is another twist here. By urging the ANC to learn from the DA, Ramaphosa might also be softening the ground for deeper cooperation inside the GNU. Remember, the DA is part of that unity government, and there is constant suspicion between the two. Ramaphosa may be signaling to his own party, we cannot just dismiss them as enemies. We have to watch and maybe copy their homework if it gets results. Of course, the DA itself will seize on these remarks as a victory. Imagine the campaign posters, even Ramaphosa admits the DA delivers. That is free advertising, handed to them on a silver platter. It is almost too good to be true. But the deeper question is whether the ANC can actually learn. For 30 years, it has been dominated by internal factionalism, cadre deployment, and corruption scandals. Saying we will copy the DA is easier than changing the culture of how councillors are appointed or how tenders are awarded. Real reform would mean cutting loose some of the networks that have kept the ANC's patronage machine alive. Is Ramaphosa ready to do that? Or is this just another speech that sounds bold but quietly fades into the background? There is also the irony of political image. The ANC built its legacy as the liberation movement that defeated apartheid and brought democracy. To now admit that the opposition, born out of older white liberal and reformist traditions, is running certain municipalities better is a symbolic blow. It signals not only governance challenges but also an identity crisis for the ANC. And here is where the humour writes itself. Imagine ANC councillors going on service delivery exchange programs in Cape Town, learning how to operate billing systems without losing millions in the process, or taking notes on how to fix a water pipe without accidentally flooding the main street. If only politics worked like student exchange programs, maybe we would not be having service delivery protests every second week. Still, we should take the president's words seriously. If he means them, it is an attempt at humility and a call for improvement. If nothing else, it acknowledges what ordinary South Africans already see: governance is not about slogans, it is about whether the traffic lights work and whether there is water in the taps. The challenge now lies in implementation. Will the ANC study how Cape Town manages its budgets? Will it copy Medval's long record of clean audits? Or will it just blame external forces and hope the voters forget by the next election? South Africa is at a crossroads. Admitting weakness is the first step, but reform requires more than speeches. Ramaphosa has set the tone. The real test is whether the ANC can follow through. So, as you think about this bold confession from the president, let us know in the comments, do you believe the ANC can genuinely learn from the DA, or is this just political theatre? If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts below. We always value your insights, and they help keep this conversation alive. See you next time.